Hey y'all, today is August 22nd when I'm recording this, 2026. Ever since May 15th, I have been posting scheduled pre-recorded messages that I started recording in January. That's just how the first few months of my year went. I'm gonna take a moment to talk about what happened to lead me to making this channel, because I know I look like Noah right now. I know I do, and it may be helpful to somebody to come across this, knowing that they heard God, they knew what God told them to do, but it doesn't look like it's purposeful. It doesn't look like it's doing anything. Like, you look delusional. Don't nobody probably understand at the moment, why you're doing something, whatever it is that you're building, why you're building it. But you heard God, right? And it's like, okay, when you gonna show up, God? And what the Lord had to make me understand was that I know you want it to be purposeful, so your heart wants more people to be involved, but can you trust that the only people that are coming across your messages are people that I'm sending? Can you trust that you don't need to be relying upon what it looked like to kind of validate what I'm doing? I'm the one who told you to do this, so it's already valid. So stop looking for approval. I'm still only sitting at about 170 subscribers right now, which I'm not tripping at all. Like I said, all of these things was pre-recorded since May up until the end of October is what I have now. And he even just started, the Lord had me record some more messages about a month ago to post whenever he tell me to post them. So in saying that, it's trusting God in the building process. You know what I came to understand? The Lord gave a word of instruction, assignment, a mission to Jesus. That was all pre-established before he spent his years being a child, a teenager, a young adult, all the way up to his 30s. Can you imagine when the Lord started talking that talk? It's me, I'm the Messiah. I'm the one y'all been waiting on. And how he looked to his family, the Bible explains that. How he looked to people who he probably built tables for. He was a carpenter. How he looked to the Pharisees, how he looked to other people, had to have been completely delusional, like he had lost it. But we all know that what he was saying was true. Just like I said, this is like a Noah season. This is like a Noah building. Noah looked insane, delusional. Why are you building that? How many years did it take Noah to do that? What are you doing? What do you mean, God, you heard God say this? What do you mean it's going to rain? What is that? like what is that? Those are just the two situations that I'm thinking of ahead of time. But in anybody's life, the Lord does the same type of patterns because the reason he shows us these patterns of his behavior, his ways in the Bible, is because we gotta know that when he's handling us, it's gonna be the same type of pattern. It may not be the same situation, and it's likely not gonna be the same situation, but his ways are still his ways. So I had to understand that month after month, now a year, it's whatever at this point, but I do know why I was sitting here. So in saying that, last night I was led to listen to a prophetic message. Many times on YouTube, I'm kind of enthralled into interviews, testimonies, and sermons. Heavy on the sermons. I love listening to some sermons. And I have prayed and I have surrendered to the Lord about my YouTube in a way where it's like, I know that he's sending me things. He's sending me this. He needed me to hear this. It wasn't some abstract, algorithm, false gods. It wasn't that for me. And then even in that, and understanding that, I talked to the Lord through all of it. So my discernment is top tier when it comes to what I'm listening to and what's going on with it. And sometimes it could be a long message, and there was only one phrase that he wanted me to pay attention to, and I felt the shift in my spirit about it, and I went to talk to him about it. And then, yes, sometimes he sent me to people that I'm annoyed with, something about them just annoys me, and I be wanting, my flesh don't want to listen to it. I know sometimes the idea of prophets in general make people booty itch. I know that, but I just want to remind y'all of how distracted of a society we are. How many believers really are truly not hearing God guide and lead them? And even Christians, even leaders, and I want to say leaders get a lot of it because they are so busy doing the work for God, and a lot of them have lives and other things going on, businesses, the families, and all of these things that can cause them to have seasons where they're not spending intimate time with the Lord as much as they should or could be, or something may have transpired in their life that would cause for them to be in a space where the Lord may be trying to get their attention about something, and they're not perceiving his voice in it. And a lot of times things like that is going to lean more towards a corrective word. Contrary to popular belief, leaders do get corrected because all of us are humans trying to do what we are supposed to be doing for the mission of Christ in earth. That should be our heart. I'm gonna just leave that there. So anyway, there is a place for prophets, even still in 2026, because some people believe that once the Bible closed, gifts and callings of that nature ended. And I'm just gonna say that's not my belief. I'm not gonna tell you what to believe, but it's not mine. I feel like at the beginning of this, what me and the Lord has been on, our journey, our most recent journey, the Lord was sending me a lot of prophetic messages because I couldn't hear him as good, and to confirm a lot of things that I was hearing. Other than that, there was a larger stint where it was more so of me just hearing other people of God speak, whether it was encouragement, whether it was testimony, whether it was sermons. Like I said, I consume a lot of sermons, but more recently he has swayed me back towards prophetic messages. And I'm like, okay, so let me rewind and talk about how I got here on this channel. So I'm trying to make this so quick. I've identified as a Christian all my life. I grew up in a church. I was the third generation of people of a family that was in this church. You know, my grandma was the pianist for this church. My granddad was a deacon in the church, and you know, so I had a church foundation. I did not have a relationship foundation. I decided the first time to officially be like, you know what, we need to do over, Lord. Let me commit my life to you in 2012, 13. And then I didn't. I still didn't have a relationship. I wanted it. I felt like I tried. I looked around at the other Christians around me. I compared. I didn't know the Bible. Specifically speaking about the New Testament of what the Lord expects of a follower. But I knew in general, you know, the stuff about sin and all of this. But once again, I took a look at the Christians around me. I figured, you know what, maybe it's not that serious. And I surely did backslide. I surely did slide on out of what was a commitment, but it wasn't a heart commitment. It wasn't a relationship. There wasn't an intimate relationship with the person of Jesus. I didn't know nothing about the Holy Ghost because I grew up Baptist. And I don't know if all Baptist churches are like this, but it seems like the Pentecostal church has more of a spiritual grounding and integration of Christian walk based on what happens with you spiritually, not just, you know, naturally. And so I didn't know anything about this personal, spiritually rooted relationship was not part of my walk. That didn't come, and it kind of grew slowly but surely over time, because what I was sure of was that the Lord hears me. What I was sure of, that I could talk to him. What I wasn't sure of was that he could initiate conversations with me. I just didn't have any, I didn't know that. I knew that I could pray to him. So my conversations to him in prayer were one-way conversations. And it wasn't until I started meditating, and I know that word can be triggering, but I'm not talking about new age meditation. I'm talking about meditating on the word of the Lord. I'm also talking about shutting down distractions of your life and isolating specific lengths of time just to sit in his presence. And a lot of times I would root that time in prayer. So that started helping me connect the line some more. I would say my life probably between 2017 up until 2023 was in that bubble. The level of my spiritual growth and connection with having my relationship with the person of Jesus. Okay, so I said 2023. During 2024 was when things kind of changed and growth occurred. I had more time to dedicate towards the Lord because there were less things getting in the way in my head of things I had to be worried about. And that's when the Lord started taking me on a ride, child. Okay, 2024 was rough, but not as rough as 2025. So I'm gonna explain it like this. There wasn't complete submission. There was, okay, I'm having a life experience that only God can get me through, and I trust him to get me through it. So I'm coming to him more. I'm speaking with him more. And in that, I started to hear him more. And in that, now I'm hearing him more. I start talking to him more. Okay, so 2024, I was like, oh, this is good. This is great. And just picture Michael Jackson in Thriller. It's like me and Holy Spirit was just skipping along and laughing and like, oh, having a great time. I'm still in the front though. Just keep that in mind. In 2024, I was still in the front. I wasn't letting him lead, but I was coming accustomed to consulting him to make decisions. So it was almost like I would have my decision and then I would talk to him about my decision. But I wasn't asking him to lead me into decisions. So here's the difference. Let's say I'm in business and I want to approach somebody about a business opportunity. That's my idea. I wanted to do that, right? So I might ask the Lord, okay, Lord, should I do this? I already want to do it. Should I do it? That's consulting with him. The flip side is, Lord, lead me into the decision plans that you want me to make. I'm now keeping an eye open for understanding that the Lord is a provider, and I'm keeping an eye open for the Lord to show me and send me things instead of going off of whims, going off of things that people are telling me that I should do based off of their knowledge. Either way, I would still go back to him and talk to him about it. But sometimes the Lord will tell you yes, even though it's not his plan. That's he permissive, that he will permit you to do certain things because you want to do it, and they won't actually get in the way of his plans, but it's still not his plan. It's still not the route that he wants you to take. It's still not the best possible outcome for you. It's still not his plan. He is ultimate intelligence, ultimate wisdom. He knows the best route. So it's a difference in understanding that. Like, okay, Lord, I trust you to send me the best route and heighten up my awareness and discernment to see what's what. And, or give me instructions, Lord. That's it right there. You tell me what I'm supposed to do with my business. Maybe you don't want me doing contracts. Maybe you don't want me, maybe you don't want me going the route that I'm asking you to go on and that I'm steady walking on. Give me instructions and then provide the pieces to make this thing happen. So that's the difference. I was in situation A where it was like, okay, I'm still leading my own path, but I'm asking you about everything to consult with me. Now I want what's in his perfect will for me, not his permissive will, what's in his perfect will for me. What is it that you want me to do? That takes leading and instruction, not me figuring things out or allowing, not the other way around. Even though the other way around isn't necessarily bad, it's just levels. Again, a lot of this stuff is about, it's not right or wrong. It's how much of God do you want? If God is the best answer for all of your circumstances, how much are you going to surrender to him so that he can provide you with those answers? So anyway, so 2024, like me and the Lord just skipping down the street, and I'm laughing and sniggling and giggling, and he's like, come on. And 2025 is that ha 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 ha, like that. When Michael Jackson look into the screen and his eyes, you know what I'm saying? I got her. She done followed me too strong now. She's submitted too much. She's seen too much for her to not follow me here to this place that she don't want to go. Okay, people be real sensitive when people talk about the Lord. So I'm not saying that. I'm not saying he was leading me to destruction, but he was leading me to a path that I would never have gone on if I knew what was next around the corner. He was leading me on a path that would take my trust in him for real, and he would test my trust in that. He would take me on a path of being Noah. Nobody around me can understand what I'm doing because they're not doing it, A, and B, he's also not telling them what the plan is. So I might look crazy when my whole life in a matter of a few months it changed from like purple to orange. People around me are becoming discombobulated because it's like I don't know Shayna no more. Between November, when I really started hearing the Lord, like really, again, it's levels. I was hearing, but it was more so of me initiating everything still. By November, Lord was speaking. November 24. It was almost like he waited until I understood more about obedience to him. Because when I was initiating all of the conversations and asking him to consult things, I was obedient. Whatever I heard him say as a response is what I was going to do. But it was almost like I had to grow and ground myself in his obedience. He started giving me instructions. Go on this fast. Stop doing this for this many days. Like instructions, which caused me to listen to him more. So I really liked into him with the obedience thing, as far as, Lord, I hear you leading me now. I hear you guiding me now. And okay, Lord, whatever you say. I don't understand everything. I don't understand most of it, but this is what you want me to do, and I'm trusting and I'm hearing you, because finally I'm at a point in my life where it's actually all about you now. You actually led me into a space where my heart was completely surrendered to you, regardless of what pushback I was getting from other people, from my thoughts, just from comparison, just regardless of what the pushback was. Okay, so boom, here comes the cutoff. Now that I could hear things, and I was receptive to things that I probably wouldn't have been receptive to before. I'm trying not to go into all the details, but let's just say he was showing up where I had my attention to use things. This is how I can like hear him in everything now. And the Lord wants you to have your spirit always searching for him all day. Like no matter what you're doing, your coworker could say something, you could see something on a banner, like regardless of what you're doing, you can hear the news and know that you need to pray for something. Like this is what it means by praying nonstop in the Bible. You always have your audience to the Lord. You always are ready to talk and listen, regardless of whatever you're doing. It could be somebody had likened it to wearing like an earpiece while you're performing, or where somebody is speaking to you while you're going throughout your day, but you're always listening for what he's saying. Okay, so he started telling me things, and like I said, showing up to me in ways that I knew it was him, in places that I was already looking, so that I can hear whatever it is and perceive what I needed to come back and pray to him about. And I spent the next 2 months slowly but surely having to distance myself from people that I love dearly. Some of it kind of happened because of my changes, but some of it I actually had to just follow the Lord's instructions and clench my fist and clench all my muscles and do the hard thing, which was tell people that have been in my life for so many years and that was so close to me and that was so intimate with me as a relationship, that I had to go, and I didn't know if and when I would be back. I have to follow Jesus, and this is what he's telling me I need to do in order for me to get whatever it is that he's trying to get from me. These relationships, I have valued them, and I still value them for everything that they were. But I have to be obedient, because shortly before this, I had already told him, Lord, I give this to you. I give you my relationships, my business, and my finances. I'm giving all of that to you. I only want what is in your will for me when it comes to these 3 areas, because they were the most important areas of my life. And when I surrendered that, the Lord said, bet, and took a sledgehammer to everything. Everything. My business, my finances, and my relationships. All of my relationships. All of them. And sometimes I'm like, dang, because when I hear other people talking who seem like they have a close, intimate relationship with the Lord, and it's like, oh, I still have this person, me and my cousin's going to go do this, and I'm like, Lord, what? Why she still gonna have cousins? Why she still, like, why does it seem like I had to give up so much? And I look around at other people who appear to be hearing from you too, and they still, like I said this before, I felt like that picture of Squidward looking out the window, and SpongeBob and Patrick was just running around having fun with their hands up outside. But I have gotten some insight about that, so since then. But at the time, I'm just like, dang, another one. And he wasn't making me do this all at one time. But I will say, like, the Lord's cutoffs with me were quite dramatic. And I think it was because I could handle it, because he knew I was like, I'm going to obey you no matter what. I had already committed to that. So when he told me I had to give up my business, which was my only source of income at the time, I was like, what gives, Lord? I have a video coming that I've already recorded about that, so I won't get into that. But it would be dramatic cutoffs that he was asking me to do. It would be, I had more than one Abraham and Isaac situation come up. I'll just put it that way. I had more than one. Some of it was just testing my trust and my obedience with him. And some of it was to knock idolatry off of me. Knock self-reliance off of me. That's an idol. That was an idol. Like, I had strongholds and idols that had to be stripped. And every time that I surrendered and obeyed him when it was tough, it was knocking off a piece of the roots that it had in me. Every act of obedience, y'all, is not just a setup for success, but it's also purposeful, of knocking off something that is holding you down in here. You might not even be cognizant of the fact that I'm struggling with this, but the Lord sees into the depths of your heart. And wherever he's trying to get you to, there are certain things that you have accumulated about your mindsets, certain strongholds, certain things that will be in the way of what he is trying to do with you, that he has to chip away at you about. And those acts of obedience along the way, even the ones that don't seem to produce anything, like the Lord can tell you to go sit in a room for 15 minutes and you sitting there like, okay, Lord, where you at? Where you at? And then he can tell you to go back into the room you was in before. And you'll be like, what did I do that for? Sometimes it's not even about understanding why the Lord told you to do something. It's just, did you do it? It's double-edged. It's the Lord wants you to trust him. So he has to show you that he's trustworthy by putting you in these weird situations. And then you seeing you still good afterwards. But he also wants to be sure that he can trust you with his promises, that you're going to steward them properly and allow him to be in the front of whatever it is that he's going to be giving you. And you have to build that muscle by practicing obedience to whatever it is that he is having you do. So even if it's something crazy, I mean, something that seems crazy, he might tell you to send a letter to somebody and then nothing happens. The question is, but did you do it? Don't worry about what you thought was supposed to happen afterwards, but did you do it? What I didn't have under my belt yet was, like, I made you, this is the Lord speaking, I made you to fulfill my purpose in this land. And that's what you need to be focused on in your life. There are different ways and different things that you'll be able to do to fulfill my purpose, but this is literally why you were created. Okay, again, I don't have people around me living this way, so that's the furthest thing from my mind. I'm just happy that I can hear the Lord, and I loved the relationship I was building with the Lord. So by the time January 2025 came, I was still kind of on some, I'll just do this, on my own without the intention of the Lord being in it. Like, I hope that makes sense. I was already under submission. I was already in obedience to him, but I didn't have the forethought of everything you do it unto the Lord. So while I was thinking about my new year, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start a new Instagram, and on that Instagram it's gonna be about me, and it was gonna be like weight loss journey and get ready with me. When me and my friend ended up doing it, a couple of days later, I had started this video about creating a YouTube channel. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it on YouTube instead. This was uncharted territory for me. Before I could make another move, y'all, this is how Holy Spirit guides you. This is why you don't have to be so anxious all the time. Just making sure that you are open, again, giving the Lord audience. You're wanting to hear him. You are creating a circumstance so you can hear him lead you the right way. If you start walking the wrong way, he can realign you. Before I could do anything, I heard the Lord tell me that it had to be about him. I couldn't do a YouTube channel about myself. The thought never occurred to me. It never crossed my mind. He gave me the thought to do that. And I said, okay. So, I think I took my first video down, but I'm not sure. I was like, well, Lord, you have to tell me what to do. Not knowing what I was going to talk about before I recorded, none of that. So, but I understood that the Lord did tell me to build a YouTube channel for him. And so that's what I did. So that's how I ended up here with a YouTube channel. Okay. And like I said, he's been leading it. He tells me when to stop recording. He tells me when to record a bunch of them, when to post them, when to schedule them to release, all of that stuff. When to take some months off of it, he tells me all of that. And it's now August of 26 from January of 25. And I'm at 170 followers. But I'm saying that, and then I'm just like, okay, that's what I was talking about at the beginning of the video. This is a Noah experience for me. People probably, there are a few people that I have shared with over time. Check out my YouTube channel, whatever. People that I know personally, but I'm just being obedient, and I know that the Lord don't have me working this hard for no reason. So there will be a time that the Lord is going to breathe on my channel, and it will be obvious to people that I'm not delusional at that point. But until then, I'm just stepping forward. It's fine. It is fine. So what led me to making this video was that, back to what I was speaking about, watching the prophetic message, even people that you went and watched, trust it. If you have surrendered that to the Lord, and you know that he shows up to you in that space of things that you need to hear in a timely manner, this was right on time. I know the Lord sent me this. I know the Lord is using this to relay information to me that I need to hear. Someone that I never seen before came on, and I was just like, okay, like I said, I talked to the Lord through it. Am I supposed to be sitting here watching this? Yes. And she was talking about, I believe it was Joshua, when they crossed the Jordan River and they used the stones to make a memorial. In the Old Testament, they were always making memorials for testimony, basically. So to mark, this is when the Lord did this. This is where we were when this happened. This is so we don't forget what the Lord has been doing. And that's a way to honor the Lord through your processes that he's taking you through. So remember, it can be just one thing the Lord puts in front of you, and you be like, some shift in your spirit, and you'll be like, Lord, was those my instructions? Were those my instructions? And the Lord told me that these were my instructions. So this is why I recorded this today, to post today. I was supposed to start talking about what's been happening to me over the last about 2 months, and share that information with you guys as a memorial, as a stone, not only to remind myself of where I am at this point, but also to, in the future, if somebody comes across these, at any point, if someone comes across this, when I'm not in this season anymore, they can see the glory of God in whatever it is that he ends up doing with me. So for the last 2 months, he has been speaking to me about these transitions that I'm in, that I can't see, but I can feel something is different. I'm still allowing him to lead me and guide my steps. And one of the most difficult steps, let's say I had 16 people in my life, including my nuclear family, and my closest friends. On a regular basis, let's say in a week's time, at this point, I was maybe in communication with 3 people on an average week. And the Lord has had me in a pruning, processing season, which has been very, very much seclusion with him, where I've been learning a whole lot of stuff, not just about the Lord, but about why I'm here, like what he needs me to do, my identity in the kingdom. And that's going to look different for every single person. I'm not telling you that the Lord is going to put you with yourself and him for 2 years. I'm not telling you that. Understand that has to do with surrender as well. If the Lord has to do something in you before he can get you to where he's trying to send you, and you keep bucking back against him, fighting back against him, resisting him, starting and stopping, surrendering and not surrendering, going over here to do this and I'll be back, like, that's what's going to take longer. And I wasn't doing none of that. So my season was supposed to be this long for a reason. But there are different callings, different assignments, different lengths of processing. What you look like before you came to the Lord has a lot to do with it, because there's a lot that he will have to spend time undoing in you. So it's very variable based on where you've been, where you're going with him, and your level of submission to the process. That's where things start figuring out, well, how long is this going to take? So anyway, by that time, there were only like 3 of those 15 or 16 people that I was in contact with, and not on a regular basis, and not in an intimate way. Like, so the Lord told me 2 months ago that 2 of these people I had to, like, that's it. I let you hold on to them as long as you could up until this point. And me being in full obedience to God, he didn't have to. He let me digest it. He let me process it. He lets me cry. He allows me to do these things. But what is that part? How long are you going to mourn over, what was it, Moses? Or even when he was talking to Samuel about Saul. I had rejected Saul. Like, the Lord gives you time to feel what you're going to feel. He's like, we got to keep moving. Go ahead and do what I said. If you need me to give you strategy, ask me for it. Ask me to put the words in your mouth and move forward. So I had learned that already. So I was just like, okay, Lord. Because these have been people that have helped me still feel normal. my little pieces of normalcy. And like I said, we weren't even spending much time together or talking very much. But it was still like a piece of the outside of my me and God bubble world that I was still being able to be connected with at that level. And he was like, well, these 2 can't go. And sometimes it'd be like, well, these 2 can't be in your life right now, but they can be in your life later. And sometimes, like, through this process, it has been like, okay, November, release this person. And then by March the following year, he's like, oh, you can go to dinner with this person. And again, it's like, I don't want to act like I understand all the Lord's ways, but I will say that every time except for one, he has led me to believe that I was not going to be able to talk to these people again in a close setting. He has led me to believe that was it. I had to actually release them. I was not supposed to be worried about whether he was going to bring them back around or not. I had to release them in my heart out of being obedience to the word that I got from him. And I just did it. So when I heard about these last 2, I was like, Lord, come on. But then it was like made plain to me, like, I done had you doing all this in all this process and all this wilderness and all these things. I'm trying to get you out of here. I'm trying to get you out of where you at. This is what I need you to do. Maybe I'll tell you why, maybe not. Because it'd be like that. Maybe he'll explain it to you, but maybe not. But you can't make him explaining things your ticket of whether you're going to do it or not. You can't make whether you understand what he's asking you to do the determining factor of whether you're going to do it or not. So it's like, you can't be worried about that. Did you hear the Lord say it? And certainly you've learned to trust him at this point. So just do it and trust him. So, okay, that's where I was at with it, even though it pained me. But okay, all right, Lord, we're moving forward. And whatever this next season is, you said I can't take them, then okay. No, not what. So like I said, that was about 2 months ago. Let me just put this in real quick, so I won't forget. I spoke about giving up my business, my finances, and my relationships to him. And during this process, he has taught me some things I would never known. I don't know if you're familiar with the false god Mammon. So a lot of people think that worshiping false gods means that you're intentionally trying to, exalt some deity, offering and sacrificing, you building an actual altar to it. It's not even that. Worship is based on your actions and the mindsets that promotes those actions. Okay, you can tell someone who worships God by their mindsets and how they live. Some people worship, I'm talking about the God of Israel. Some people worship God and they also worship some other things that they are not fully aware that they're worshiping, but they're worshiping it through their lifestyle. Okay, I can't spend time explaining that, but I'll say this: things that motivate you can be rooted in things that are outside of God. The hustle culture in America is completely opposite to values and principles of the kingdom. I had to learn that. The Lord brought me through something, and this goes back to worshiping Mammon. I don't know if this may help, if this interests you. If you Google what does modern day worship to Mammon look like, you might be led into some places of valuable information. And again, pray and ask God, ask Holy Spirit to sit with you and help you see what you need to see from whatever it is you're seeing. But my lifestyle before, as an entrepreneur, was completely self-reliant. And even though I was thanking God for everything, I was praying to him about opportunities and things like that, I included God, but it wasn't led by God, and it wasn't leading me to God. It was leading me to what I could do in my own strength, and also what other people could provide for me, opportunities they could provide for me, like all of that. Make one thing clear: if you don't understand nothing else, the Lord wants you to be reliant upon him through everything. He is your provider. He is your provider. He is your provider. And since we talk about Mammon, I'm just going to stick to money, even though he's your ultimate provider of all things. You can trust him with that. You can depend on him to be who he said he was going to be in that way. But specifically talking about money, the Lord had to do a work in me. And I have a video about that I've already recorded. That should be coming up maybe in October though. But he has to do a work in me for me to let that go, for me to understand the spiritual implications behind serving the systems that the world have created. The world meaning the kingdom of darkness, even though it seems like it's just a way of life. And some of the things actually seem successful, and the world praises you when you're doing these things and accomplishing these things. It's actually not kingdom. It's actually not promoting the things of God. Sometimes our prayers can even be on some other stuff that creep more into new age practices or witchcraft prayers, rather than prayers of petitioning the Lord to be who he is. It kind of puts you in a mindset of, I can speak this into, I can say this. I can say this thing and make this happen. Manifestation type of ideals. There's a thin line. Remember, everything that has been turned bad was good because the enemy's not a creator. You have to look at how you're doing these things, the motivation of it, what the results are that you're trying to get, and who actually is that you understand is empowering for these things to happen. Whenever you get to a point where you turn the real biblical principle of being able to pray things and speak things, knowing that life is given through the tongue, knowing that we are speaking spirits, all of this stuff is true. But when you get to the point where the line kind of blur of, are you making this happen, or is the Lord actually making this happen? Who told you to pray that? Did you consult the Lord first before you started speaking this thing? Do you even know if that's what he wants for you and you trying to speak on it? That is witchcraft. It's manipulation. It's you trying to use spiritual things to manipulate an outcome that can be against the will of God, because he didn't send you to do it and you didn't even ask him if you should do it first, even if you're using scriptures to do it. I'm gonna move off of that and let me get back onto my main point about this though.